Welcome to the Zen AF Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Julia Garcia Devaney. I'm a life and mindset coach for female founders, and my mission is to help thousands of ambitious, busy women become the number one asset in their life and business. Tune in as I share with you the behind the scenes of my own ambitious journey and help you bring the Zen back into your hustle so you can create the impact you desire and truly love your own ambitious journey as well. Welcome, and let's get into the episode. Hello, my ambitious babes. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? I'm so happy to be here with you today, recording this for you. Today's episode is going to be all about that infamous saying, if you have heard it in the personal development world, which is new levels, new devils. I'm going to kind of explain what that is and actually how they might not be so new. But first, I guess a little update for you guys. So I submitted all the final editing, or almost basically final editing of my planner to the editor. So I'm just waiting back for some concepts, but I'm really excited about that. That feels very much, almost done in terms of the content, which is probably the most difficult part. And it's always nice to have those frogs eaten, as they say. And I'm also on the home stretch of my master mindset and life and success coach certification. I have like about a week or two left, I think. And I'm just submitting all these kind of final, submissions that I need to do in order to qualify for my certification. So I'm just super proud and excited to have done some hard things and, now start seeing some of the rewards of just being finished ultimately. These are some of the wins that I was sharing in my Get Zen AF app. If you guys haven't downloaded it yet, it's free to download. The community is free as well. And we celebrate there every Friday. I just changed the chat a little bit to make sure to include everything kind of in the main feed so that it's all there in one place. So go in there, celebrate your wins. We celebrate all the wins. We celebrate all the learnings, aka the fails, right? And what you learned about them. And all the mundane things, everything in between, right? The chicken and broccoli that you ate for 5 days in a row, things like that. So go in there if you haven't downloaded it yet. It's Get Zen AF in the App Store or Google Play, and it's free. So, and I'd love to see you in there and grow that community to everything that it's going to be. I'm so excited. It's just the beginning, everybody. But yes, it is free. Download it. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Let's just say that. I've also been coaching a lot of amazing women this week, and that's something to celebrate because I just love what I do. It fills my soul so much to talk to you guys and to help you just change perspectives and, help you move forward in life and in whatever it is that you want to do and accomplish and create. And that's kind of what has inspired this episode today, because I was talking to a woman that has come up against, in her words, some self-sabotage behavior, right? Where she can kind of see herself going into old patterns. And so she knows that what she's doing right now is not conducive to the goals that she wants to create. And the first thing I wanted to do for her is help her celebrate her awareness, because if you know anything about personal development, it's that if you are not aware of it, you cannot change it. And the fact that she is aware of it was already much of a celebration and a great starting point. And in speaking with her more, what I realized was that, these behaviors were something that she has kind of encountered before. And it was trying to protect her from ultimately like burnout, right? Which is like something that she had done before, or something that she had experienced before. And what she shared was just some frustration, almost like, I've done this before, I've gone through this before, kind of, why am I here in this place again? And ironically enough, it's what she is trying to help other people with. So this was obviously causing problems in her business, her product-based business, because she didn't feel in integrity or authentic with what she was, trying to help people with, and her content that she was trying to produce, and concepts she was trying to extract from her own experience in her own mind. So this can clearly cause some problems in terms of just adding so much resistance and those self-sabotaging behaviors of like, I don't know enough, I need to research more, I need to consume more. Who I am right now and what I have to say is just like not good enough because those are the thoughts, right, that are, contributing to the resistance, right? And these are not probably her specific thoughts, but just in general, giving you guys a general idea of what are the thoughts that could add that resistance if you are trying to avoid something, because ultimately that's what the self-sabotaging behavior is trying to do. So I asked her, what is it that it is trying to avoid if, she is able to find the momentum and create what she wants to create. Like, what is she afraid of, And so it was the burnout she was afraid of. That was what's causing the actions of these self-sabotaging actions, right? Of over-consuming and, doing things that were just busy work, but ultimately not moving the needle in terms of the project that she's trying to create. So once we got that kind of squared away in terms of like what is there, bring that to the surface, I could share with her, my own experience and I share with you guys my own experience in, the fact in this frustration, right? Because she's very aware and, just like me, very in my head, very analytical. So we have this, amazing sense of awareness, right? And self-awareness. But that doesn't always mean that we know exactly how to navigate through it or get through it, right? We still have to go through that experience, unfortunately. So I used to do this quite a bit. And, I used to be very much aware that my patterns were coming back or showing up. And I used to be like, ugh, like, haven't I done enough with this subject before? Haven't I been here, done that? Got the t-shirt on this limiting belief or like whatever. I've done the work on this. Like, where is the certificate? I understand this frustration super firsthand. And it's why I always say that, mindset is not something that you do once and have forevermore. You get a certificate and you're just done. That just doesn't happen. It's something that you have to really work towards daily. And really what happens on a subconscious level when these patterns come up, right? And it doesn't even have to be just a pattern or whatever. It could be it doesn't have to be in your mind, like a limiting belief. It could also be in your body, right? Your nervous system can be reactive to, a certain situation or event. And that can come up again too. And you can be like, what is this about? So that's definitely happened to me. I remember, and I feel like I've talked about this before. I know I talked about it on my TikTok. I don't know if I've shared it here on the podcast. But I have a real aversion to a certain city that I just had a very hard time with. And even though I'm way out of, harm's way in regards to that time in my life and like whatever, just the thought of going back to that city, my body remembers, right? My nervous system remembers, and it causes a lot of anxiety and havoc for me to kind of become aware of it. And so, it's not just in your mind where you're like, oh my gosh, I've, tackled this limiting belief before where I needed validation from somebody or whatever, just to give you guys an example of a limiting belief, or it's not just, I've thought I've, moved past this. I have such a great life now. Those days are behind me that, in that city that was so rough for me, but my body still remembers, right? So these things don't just kind of go away, right? They are sometimes, and maybe you do work through them and maybe you do heal through them. However, what happens kind of in the nervous system, in your subconscious mind, is that, it's in charge of all of your memories and emotions and things like that. So sometimes what happened, especially if it's like a traumatic thing, right? Which burnout can be traumatic, living in a city and just having a hard time can be quite traumatic. Having a certain thought can even be quite limiting belief can be quite traumatic, right? Trauma is classified in many different degrees. However, it is all under one umbrella of trauma. So what happens is that, since your subconscious is, in charge of these memories, in charge of these emotions, it can suppress things until you're ready, right? So that's what I do now is like I kind of take that as an indication when things kind of come up that number one, I'm at a new level, right? And number two, there might be new things that come up, but really sometimes it's old things that are on another level or a deeper level so that you can go deeper in your healing journey because you are more able and you feel more safe. So that's what it does. It kind of harbors these memories and emotions until it's safe, until it feels like you are safe enough to actually process them. So a lot of people that go through maybe extreme trauma, when they're younger, their memories are completely blocked out. Some people don't remember so much of their childhoods because it was just so traumatic, right? And then all of a sudden, when they become, 20, 25, 30, years old, they start having these memories that they just never had before. And it's because, it's likely because, they just feel safer in themselves and in their body and in their life to start processing them. That is, if they've done some of the healing and things like that, right? So I really take these occurrences where things kind of come back now, right? Before I was annoyed by them. But now I take it as again, an indication that number one, I'm at a new level and I feel safer here. I'm just better here. And obviously I'm more capable to look at this at a deeper level and go deeper within my healing. And the good thing about that is that if it took you 5 years to heal the first thing, the first time, right? It's not going to take you another 5 years to heal this, next layer of the onion, as if you want to put it that way. It probably won't, right? Because it is just, life is just kind of asking you, and your subconscious is just kind of asking you to, tackle this now as you are now in this new identity. You're not that person you were, let's say 5 years ago, if that was the timeline, right? You are a new person now with a new type of identity and new abilities and new capabilities and a new tools and new knowledge and all the things. So handle it now as you are, right? And that will be taking a lot less time. Who knows how much less, but a lot less. I mean, it's definitely not going to be the 5 years that it took you to process the first time, where you're just, number one, becoming aware that you are going through burnout or have limiting belief or, this thing was traumatic or what have you. You already are aware. These patterns are apparent to you. You know exactly what it is. So that whole awareness learning curve is already quite short. And then also you remember the process and the process of what you kind of gone through and went through in order to, overcome that thing. So the steps already. You just have to do them again, or you get to do them again as this new version of yourself, this next level version of yourself. So what I told the woman, and that ended up shifting so much for her, and she was just so ecstatic, was just you actually have an amazing opportunity in your hands if you are able to practice that mindfulness, right? That non-judgment towards how you are feeling, the experience you're currently having. You completely did not judge the situation and you did not judge yourself for being quote unquote back in this place. This could be the most amazing opportunity for you to be able to look at it from another perspective, a much more empowered perspective, and actually go through the process again and, on a different level, on a more introspective level where you can actually almost be an outsider looking in and be a little bit more objective about it and be able to really articulate that process of how to go to point A to point B, right? This person's not a coach or anything like that. They are just creating a system or a process in terms of a product or a project that helps people do that. And so it's this is an amazing opportunity because, you're not in the thick of that burnout anymore, right? You're not having to learn about it and do the process or whatever. You actually already have the process, and now you get to apply it for yourself on a different level, and in a more empowered place. And so that you can actually explain this even better to people and remember firsthand that you don't have to remember what happened 5 years ago, right? You can come from it from a better place where where emotions are not as entangled, let's just say, and you're not so enthralled in those emotions and, basically in the water of those emotions in this moment. So like for me, it seemed like the most amazing opportunity that she had. And then that was obviously the shift and the reframe that helped her really just move forward and actually get excited about being where she was instead of judging that, herself and the situation that she's back in the situation and it's so terrible and why is she back here? I feel so inauthentic because I thought I got out of this and now I'm back in this and I'm trying to show other people how to get out of this and it's just like this is an amazing opportunity. And I could also share kind of my own experience with this because my Zen AF Wellness Planner, I created that after I had my first daughter, right? And I wanted to create it in order to help people do what I did, which was learn how to prioritize their self-care, as an ambitious person with goals and demands and other priorities, right? So I knew if I could do it in the way that I could do it, right, then I'm sure that other people could too. And when I had my second daughter, I took it again, like as an amazing opportunity to not just refine my process, but deepen my concepts and make up new concepts. And like, I got to see if it stood the test of time, number one, and if it stood the test of more priorities. Cause now I was doing that with 2 kids and like I was on level 2. Can I do it with 2? And now I'm about to do it with 3, but I know that this process works. I have refined these concepts and all my content so meticulously that, in terms of this editing process, that's what was so hard about it, honestly, because I was like, wait, some of this doesn't make sense or it doesn't add up. Or if I was somebody that I didn't know everything, I wouldn't have been able to follow along. So I had to go back and really, really with like a fine tooth comb along with, another person's fine tooth comb and a few other people's fine tooth comb, be able to say, oh yes, I understand this process. I could apply it to myself. It works. And, and I can actually, do it, right? It's actually a doable thing. So I will take this next time once I have my, brand new planner in my hands as a way to, go through this process yet again, right? And even just see if there's anything that I can improve on even more on level 3, right? With my third baby and, essentially new business with this product-based business. So it's kind of funny. I've birthed literally like different parts of my business with every baby, but that's probably a subject for another episode. So yes, new level, new devil is really just when you get to a new place in your life, right? A different level of your life where you have more demands, more things that you've created, more responsibilities maybe, because sometimes that's what comes with having more, right? Is just your capacity to hold more changes as well, right? So whatever your capacity is now is, likely not enough for the next level. So you have to expand your capability and your capacity to go to that next level, right? Which is very possible and very doable for you. But when sometimes you get there and you're like, wait, what is this? And you have to find out that like, oh, I actually made it to a new level and I'm currently expanding into this new level and I am practicing being here as this new person. So that means that sometimes there are new things that come up, sure, right? But again, a lot of the times it's just a added layer to old shit, right? Because our beliefs and our traumas and whatever is holding, emotions we're holding, our beliefs and our emotions mostly, whatever we're holding in our body and in our mind, most likely came from a long time ago, right? And they have been practiced things from, for many, many years. And so we just have that ability and opportunity now to conquer them, deal with them, heal them, deepen them, however you want to call it, however you want to put it, at this new level. That's really what it is. And that's what it is for me anyway. I have not looked up the definition to the concept or the saying or anything like that. But for me, that's what it is in my experience with clients, and just seeing how things come up, right? And so this is not the time to judge yourself. It's not the time to get frustrated with yourself or your situation. It's the time to accept and celebrate that you're at this new level and that you have proven to your own subconscious, right, that you are able and safe and willing and capable of handling, these things at this new level, right? And it's only going to benefit you. It's only going to get you to that next level that you want to be at, because the truth is some things can come and some things got to stay. So, it might be some of those things that have to stay that you need to process in order to get to the level that you really, really want to be at, which is the next one. Even though this one might be great, we are evolving human beings. So it is really just in our nature to just keep going and keep evolving and keep growing, really, and just keep creating. That's just our nature. So if I could recommend a process to you guys, is really just applying mindfulness to that awareness that you are having similar things come up before you get frustrated. So practice that, just paying attention on purpose, meeting yourself with kindness, right? And ultimately looking at it with an open mind and an open heart and not judging yourself or the situation, and just really seeing and noticing what it is there to do and teach you. And you might even, get to the point where I got to, where you find not just appreciation, but almost celebration in being in the same place again. But you're never in the same place, right? You're in a different, brand new level. It's just you are encountering some familiar faces. Let's just say that. So practice that mindfulness, those concepts of mindfulness, and apply it to the situation. And I promise you, it'll not just, help you process and get through the experience and learn what you need to learn, but you will also find yourself, really enjoying that process, which is what I love to help you guys with. So if this was useful, helpful, let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram, Julia Garcia Devaney. Remember, I still have some coaching containers left before I give birth. There are 1 month containers. It's called From Dreamer to Doer in just 30 days. If you're interested in that, also let me know and just DM me and we can book a consult call. And yeah, love to hear from you guys. Love you guys. And I'll hear you next week. Thanks for listening, Ambitious Babe. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot and share your favorite takeaways with me at Julia Garcia Devaney, and be sure to leave us a review, as that would mean so much. And if you're ready to put the Zen back into your hustle and love your ambitious journey, be sure to download the Get Zen AF app, where you'll learn to prioritize yourself and truly become the #1 asset in your life and business. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Check out the links in the show notes, and I'll see you inside.